Hello and welcome to Automate Code again. In the previous video, we have installed Microsoft Office trial version in our virtual operating system. We have installed Microsoft Office in our virtual operating system so that we can use it with HP Unified Functional Testing. We will need Microsoft Excel with HP Unified Functional Testing so that when you will be designing your test framework, you will be reading your steps and other related data from Microsoft Excel. So that's why you need to have Microsoft Office that will bring Microsoft Excel to your operating system. So we already learned how to install Microsoft Office and how to how to bring it to use with our unified functional testing. Now in this video specifically we are going to learn how to create files, how to create an Excel file using HP UFT, and then we are going to learn how to read data from Excel, and then we are going to learn like sequentially how to write data into Microsoft Excel. So let's move forward with our goal today. So I have already prepared some of the code that I will be explaining in these videos. Now if you take a look here in this small program, first we have created an Excel file. So Excel file means we have created an Excel object. So to create an Excel object, you will have to use this instruction, and then we have made it visible, and then in that Excel object we have added an Excel workbook, and then we have saved that Excel workbook in our hard drive, and then we have closed Excel. Now let me show you something real quick. Um, Now let's execute this small program. So I'm executing this small program. Now you are seeing that it has created Excel for us, and then it has made it visible. Okay, now the Excel is created, but we didn't save it in our hard drive. So by this command in line number 12, we are saving this file that we have created in this path, in this path of our hard drive. Now let me quickly finish execution, and then if you go to that location, one second, use of Excel. Okay, hold on. Use of Excel. One second. So this is the path. Let me copy this path. So this is the path, and then if we go to our hard drive, let's say this is our computer in the virtual machine. Now if we go to that path, can you see this is the file that we have created? Okay. See, although we do not have any data, but we have created an empty Excel file. Now while we have this Excel file here, let me try to execute the same statement. Okay, now I'll keep a breakpoint here, and then I will go step by step. Now we have created an Excel object, then we have made it visible, and can you see we do not have any worksheet in it, and then we are adding a workbook. Remember, in Excel workbook it comes with by default 3 worksheet. So the whole thing is a workbook, but inside that workbook we have sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. In this 3 sheet we can read, write, or we can do whatever we like in this 3 sheet. Now see, this object has created. Now until you saved it in your computer, you know it will not exist. So now I am trying to save this Excel file in my hard drive. But remember one thing here, in this path, probably, let me close this path. In this path, if you go to that path, use of Excel, we already have a we already have an Excel previously that we created and saved. Can you see? In 1122 we have created an Excel file, test Excel, and we have saved it. Now if we try to save this file again as in the same name, testexcel.xls, let's see what happens. Okay, now I'm trying to execute, like I'm trying to do a save as. Now if you go there, can you see a file named testexcel.xls already exists in this location? Do you want to replace it? So it is asking us if we want to replace this file, and it will take long time here. It will be waiting for us to give it a reply here. Okay, so in this situation, like if your file is already exist in your hard drive, then it is creating a trouble here. So what we are going to do, we are going to solve this problem. First, how we are going to solve this problem? First, we are going to check if this file exists. If this file exists, then we are not going to create it, or we are not going to save it. Okay, so remember one thing. First, we are going to look at that location if that file is exist. If that file is not exist, then we are going to create that file. Okay, now I will have to stop this execution, but I'll have to manually say no, and let me see, it is throwing an error here. I'm going to stop execution here. Now I'll close this file. Okay, I'll close this file and see how we solve this problem. So the problem here, we are trying to create a file and save it by the name of testexcel.xls. But if this file is already in your hard drive, then it is creating a trouble. Now how we solve this problem? But before I go to that part, see here, to close Excel you are using that quit statement, and then here you are saying excel object nothing. So you are putting nothing in that Excel object. When you create an Excel object, it takes memory, it reserves some memory in your RAM. So you are freeing up this memory by putting nothing in that object. Okay, now let me show you how we can solve that problem. Now take a look here. In this example, we have solved that previous problem. What we did here, besides creating Excel object, we have created another object, file system object. Can you see create object scripting dot file system object? So by file system object, we will be checking if that file that we are going to create, if it is exist in our hard drive. Now take a look here. Then we are see, that is where UFT tutorials, use of Excel in UFT test XLS. So this file, we are putting the path here. Okay, so this is the path. We are saving this path in a variable, and then what we are doing here, we are making that Excel visible. And then see here what we are doing here, by that file system object, we are asking obs fsu dot file exist, and then we are saying file path. So what we are saying, go to that path, and see if that file exists. If that file not exist, remember, if that file, what is the file? If this file not exist, okay, then we are adding a workbook, and then we are saving it. So if that file, we are saying if this not exist, what not exist? If this file not exist, then do this. But if it is exist, then print file exist, now opening, and then we are opening that file. So if the file doesn't exist, then we are creating that file and then saving it in that location. But if that file exists, we are not creating it. Instead, we are printing something and then we are opening that file from there. Okay. Now, the key thing here is the different here from the previous code that I showed you is first we are checking here if this file exists. So in that way you can check any file if it is exist in your hard drive, and then you can do anything on that file. Now let me execute the same code, actually the new code. See, this is the location we have test excel. Now if I execute it, see here. Now see, we are we have visible make visible that file. Okay, but can you see we do not have anything in it. Now see what we are doing here. We are checking if this file exists. Okay, now you can see in our this file already exists. So as that file is not as that file is already exist, so it will not see, it didn't come here because the file is exist. It will come here if this file not exist. Now if the file exists, what it is going to do, it is going to print that message in the output, and then it is going to open that file. Now at this point you see it is test excel. Now you can see that this file we do not, this file it has just open excel, but it didn't open our file that we want to open. Now can you see, we are saying that if this file exists, this file means if this file exists then open it. So if I execute this line number 18, see we have nothing here, but if I execute line number 18, it will open the file that we have in the file path. So what is that, what we have in that file path? We have the path of this test excel.xls file in that file path variable. So we are going to, when we are going to execute this line number 18, you will see it has opened the file that we mentioned in the file path. Now can you see, when you execute this line, and then it has created the file that we have mentioned in that file path. Now we are going to close excel, and then we are going to remove the object from the memory. So in this in this example, what we have seen, that we can check if a file exists in your hard drive, and then if that file exists you can do anything you want. And if that file anything you want, and if that file do not exist, even you can check that condition. Excuse me. Now let me do one thing, let me remove this file from here. I'm going to delete this file. Okay, and then I'm going to execute the same command. See here, it has just created the excel object. Now it is looking for in this path whether we have that excel file. Now we have already deleted that file, so it didn't get that path over there, that path doesn't exist. So now it is going to add an workbook in this excel file, and then it is going to save it. Okay, now you have, it didn't come to else block because the condition in the if block was true. Now if you go there, and if you can, you see the file is there. Okay, now let me see how we can read some data, actually how we can write some data into a excel file. So I have I have created another uh, block of code for you so that I can explain it in the recording. Now, see in this program, what we did, we have the same thing we did in the previous example. We did same thing, and then what we are doing, if that file not exist, then creating we are adding a workbook with that, and then see if that file do not exist, we are asking create that file, okay, and then write some data into that file. Okay, so what we are going to write, let's say we are going to create a table, something like this, student name and age, and then we are going to give some student name in that file. Okay, now, so if that file doesn't exist, do this. What we are doing here, we are writing some data into that file, and then we are saving it over there. But if that file exists, again, if that file exists, then what we are going to do, we are going to again we are going to open that file, and then we are going to do the same thing. We are going to write some data into that file, and then we are going to save. Now, can you see if that file doesn't exist? If that file doesn't exist, then we are doing a save as. Okay, Excel object active workbook dot save as, and then we are saving it as. But if that file already exists, then we are opening it, and then we are saving it. Instead of save as, we are saving it. Okay, now let me execute this code, and let me put a breakpoint here. Okay, actually I have a breakpoint in line number 4, that should be fine. Now see, again we are creating an Excel object, and then we are creating a file system object to check if that file already exists, and then here we are making it visible. Now see, we have nothing. So we are checking if that file that we mentioned in the file path, if it is exist. So that file is already, we know that that file is already exist. So it is coming to the else block. It is not going to the if block. Okay. I know that file exists, but we do not have anything in it. Okay. Now what we are going to do, we are opening that file. Can you see Excel object and then workbooks? If you want to open any Excel file, any existing Excel file, the syntax is Excel object. First we have created an Excel object here in line number 4, and then we are using that object, like we are giving Excel object dot workbooks. So under Excel objects there are workbooks, and then we are opening an workbook, an Excel file that we have in that path. Okay, so now let's open that file. Can you see it has opened that test Excel for us? Now what we are going to do, we are uh, we are we are going to write some data. Can you see here we have 3 sheet? Okay, we have 3 sheet. Now we are going to write some data in sheet 1. Okay, let's say we have focus in sheet 2 or sheet 3. Okay, we have focus in sheet 3. Now if you go to your program, now in line number 33 we are saying set sheet 1 as our writing um, writing path. So whatever we are writing, see, we are writing it in Excel sheet. Which Excel sheet? Sheet 1. Now in sheet 1, in any of the sheet, let's say sheet 3, see this 1. So this is 1 1, this is 1 2, this is 1 3. In that way this will be 1 4. So this is the address, or how this is how you specify your cells. So this is a cell, this is a cell, this is a cell, this is a cell. Okay, and the whole thing, this is a row. Okay, now can you see this whole thing? This is a column. Now this is a row, this is another row, This is a column, this is another column. Remember that. And then this row, it will be 2 1, and then 2 2, and then 2 3. In that way it will be moving forward. Now our the we are writing data in the sheet that we have selected in the sheet, and then dot cells what 1 1. So what is the sheet 1? Sheet 1 cell 1 1 dot value. So we are storing some value student name in 1 1 cell of sheet 1. So let's execute line number 37 and let's go back our sheet 1. Can you see in sheet 1 cell 1 1 we have student name. Then let's execute line number 38. Now it should write cell 1 2, it should write is okay. Excel sheet dot cells dot value, we are inputting some value in that cell. So if I execute that one, if you go back, can you see now cell 1 1 we have in sheet 1, cell 1 1 we have student name, and cell 1 2 we have age. And one another thing you focus, can you see here, this is A1, this is A1, this is B1, this is C1. Can you see this is A2? But our focus is this is cell 1 1, this is cell 1 2, this is cell 1 3, this is cell 1 4, this is cell 2 1, this is cell 2 2, this is cell 2 3, this is cell 2 4. Okay. Now if I execute, now we are going to cell 2 1. Cell 2 1 is this one. So we are trying to write some data in cell 2 1. What we are trying to write? David. Okay. Now can you see we have written David in cell 2 1, and then we are trying to write his age in cell 2 2. Okay. Now can you see if you go there, his age is written here, and then we are going to cell 3 1 and writing Mike. Can you see Mike? And then we are going to write his age. Okay. And then we are executing a save command. Okay. Save. Now if you finish execution here, and then if you go back to that path, and if you open that Excel, you will see the data you have written is existed over there. Okay. Now let me do one thing. Let me remove this file. Let me remove this file, and then let me execute the code again. So now it should come to if block because that file doesn't exist anymore. Okay. Now let me execute this code and let's see how it works. Now so we have created an Excel object, but remember we do not have anything here. Up to now we do not have any Excel file here. We do not have any Excel file. Now it will, if not that file exists, that means the condition is true, that file doesn't exist. So now what we are going to do, we are adding a workbook here, and then we are adding our data. Can you see we are adding our data one by one in that Excel. So we have written the data for David, and then we'll be writing the data for Mike, and then we are saving it as in this name, right? So if the file is new and you are saving it, you will be saving it as. See here, if you come here, can you see the file is created, and if you open this file, can you see the data is there. Okay. So that is how you write data in an Excel file, and that is how you verify if the file exists or not. Now let me introduce, actually let me introduce some new concept here. Let's say you want to create a function library, but I will not make this session too long. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to prepare another tutorial, and then I will be adding some more feature with the code that we have written so far. But I will stop this session here, and please follow the next video for the following part of the tutorial. I want to thank you all for watching this video,